Hey everybody, welcome to the Sharp Tongue Podcast. I'm your girl, Jessimae Peluso. This is a special Swapcast episode. What's that, you say? It's when I record an episode on someone else's podcast and I put it on my podcast. This week, I had the opportunity to chit-chat with one of my Paisan people, Tom Papa, on his podcast, Breaking Bread. And you're never going to believe what he gave me. You guessed it, a loaf. Actually, I threatened him. I said, the only way I'm coming on your podcast, Papa, is if I get a freaking loaf. Because I know you're in the kitchen, kneading dough, and I need bread. That's how it works. So this episode is a Swapcast. It is from his podcast. I hope you enjoy it. But before that, don't forget, rate the podcast, come see me live on tour, buy the merch, support the comedy, and don't forget to have freaking fun because life is too short, and that's what this podcast is here for, your fun. So I want to hear how much you love it. Rate the podcast 5 stars, leave me a review, and email me, jessimaepelusocomedy@gmail.com. Hope you enjoy it. Sharp Tongue Podcast. Beep, 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 beep. You're listening to the Sharp Tongue Podcast. I'm your host, Jessimae Peluso. It's a personal look. Well, it's not really a look because it's a podcast. I'm already fucking this up. This is kind of like a verbal comedy diary, a deep look into the crevices of my mind. It's gonna get dirty. You might cry. You'll probably laugh. Hopefully you'll laugh. Talk about my dog sometimes. Each week it's something different. Sometimes I have a guest host. Sometimes it's gonna be a movie companion episode. Sometimes I just ramble about the bullshit I dealt with the week before. You never know what you're gonna get. It's raw, uncut, and funny. It's me.
I think we need to update the funeral.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about this for a second. It's become a bit of a, no one knows what to do right now.
No one knows what to do right now, but there's also these like instilled traditions that we're supposed to abide by that I don't agree with. I think, hey, someone just died, my closest person just died. I don't want you to fucking kiss my cheek. Okay, lady who did his hair for 30 years?
Right.
Don't want your cigarette breath on my sweet skin.
It's Breaking Bread. A toast.
A toast.
I haven't seen you in quite some time.
It has been some time.
Yeah, and I've missed you.
I missed you as well.
And I'm very glad that you made the trip.
Oh, salud.
Salud.
Salud, fratello.
Bum, bum, bum.
Bom, bom, bom.
Not bad.
That's really good.
Right?
And normally I like a little extra stuff in it.
Do you want any sugar?
No, I'm going full ham right now.
We can get you sugar.
No, I don't want
we
the
got
sugar.
it right there.
Absolutely not.
Lemon twist? We don't have that.
What a delightful thing to discover that, though, when you travel and you see how it's really meant to be consumed and you have something that in your mind, your American mind, you're like, no.
Right.
Lemon where?
Yeah.
And you have it and you're like, okay.
All right. You guys know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Allow me to jump into something controversial right off the at the top. Well, I've got 2 things. I'm going to go with the first one from your Instagram, then I'll go into something from my life.
Okay.
I saw a post that you were going off about Cheez-Its. And I love Cheez-Its. And well, why don't you say what you were saying on your post about the Cheez-It people?
I've had a couple moments in my life where I've gone off about Cheez-Its.
I think it was a pretty recent story, maybe.
Yeah, what was I complaining
Reels.
about? I was complaining about, was it so many flavors?
Yeah, that they've
It's just, people wonder why everyone has ADD and ADHD. This isn't something, it started in childhood maybe, but also could it be that there's 37 flavors of something that just has one flavor in the name? It's just cheese.
Right.
We don't need extra, we don't need it to be like modified or big. None of that, just have the whole box is just one cracker. It's just the one big Cheez-It.
Taco Bell?
Oh, it's overwhelming.
I tried it.
Was it good?
No.
How could it be?
I wanted it to be good.
Of course you did.
We had it on the radio show, and I was like, this will be, a Cheez-It as the taco shell?
It sounds amazing.
12-year-old me is very excited about that idea.
That's what they're doing. It's a scam. It's a marketing scam.
It's a complete scam.
It's a nostalgia scam.
You only have it once. But I was very much into the Cheez-Its, too. It was my go-to travel treat.
Me too.
When you get off a plane and you're like connecting and you're like, I survived.
Yeah, I'm traveling. These calories don't count. Chemicals don't count.
Yeah, I'm close to death. I might as well enjoy myself.
Yeah.
And that was my go-to. And then one day I walked into Hudson News or whatever it was, and it was a wall of Cheez-Its. And A lot of people are doing this though. Pringles is doing it. Oreo people have lost their minds.
And they also deviate away from the one thing they're doing. And it brings me back to that saying, stay in your lane. And your lane doesn't have to have 7 other lanes. This isn't a relay race. This is not the Olympics.
Has there been any Cheez-It that's not in the lane that excited you?
You know, I do. I don't even know if this is a type, but I feel like there's one that has a little extra air in it.
Oh, the Puff?
Yeah, the Puff is fun. I'm easily scammed. I get scammed all the time. I'm like, oh, this is more Cheez-It. It's just more. You're paying more for less. It's actually more air.
Yeah.
It's the same with like Club Soda. It's half air.
My father is on a real campaign.
Your dad?
Yeah, my dad. My father.
Fake people in the studio speaking his
My father, Pasquale, is so angry.
Like I got to 5.
In the old country, when they gave you 12 ounces, it was 12 ounces.
Yeah.
And now he's like measuring everything.
Is
he's
he?
like, there's less of everything. Look how these bottles are smaller. Look how few chips are in this thing.
It's true.
Completely against the scam that's being perpetrated on all of us.
And I think a lot of packaged food, you think about the shape of the food inside. I think they're making the shape of the food inside so that there's more air in between the morsels so that it feels full. But if you shake it or lay it out, it's a lot less food. So
Right.
you're making me pay for less, but you're still giving me the same amount of chemicals?
Mm-hmm.
That's the part that's also crazy is other countries not accepting the things we are just free balling.
Yeah, exactly. They allow us to make and sell things and call it food, but it's not food.
It's not.
And the other countries are like, no, this isn't food. You can't put this in people's mouths.
Like this product is in our cereal.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You know, I don't know what Lake is. Why am I eating, what's Red Lake 30? It sounds like one of those codes from the military, like in the Middle East. Whiskey, Foxtrot, Tango.
Right. Bravo.
Whiskey, Tango, Foxtrot. What am I eating a secret code from the military? Oh my God, I'm a spy. How did that happen for $4.39? It's a cheap deal.
I just got off the road, so I didn't have time to bake you bread. So I brought you bread from Lodge Bread.
What's Lodge Bread?
It's one of my favorite bakers in LA.
It looks
And you'll take that home with you. I gave you bread last time when we were in the old spot.
What did I tell you when you asked me to come on?
I forget.
I said I'm not coming on unless there's a loaf.
Oh, well,
there
you mean
needs to
this
be a
time?
loaf. Yeah. I was like, I will be on the podcast, but if there's not a loaf on the table, I will exit the premises.
Yeah, of course. I was insulted by the question. Of course there's going to be bread. So thank you very much for being here.
Yeah.
And you can have that. You wanted to say something
Sophia
about
Loren.
Sophia Loren?
Sophia Loren, what a timeless beauty. I'll never forget her. One of the things that she said in a magazine imprinted in me. And it imprinted in me in a way that counteracted how other images in magazines had imprinted in me in such a young age. And I feel so fortunate that I grew up in a time where it took you a little bit longer to feel bad about yourself.
Yeah.
Because
you had to wait for it to come in the mail.
Exactly. You had to turn a page.
Right.
And there's only like 30 of them. So you're like, oh, phew, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'll deal with this.
Yeah.
But now you can scroll through thousands of images that make you question yourself as a young girl.
Mm-hmm.
And she was in an article saying something about age and ageism, and I'm an anti-ageism.
Right.
When it comes to like, you know, you shouldn't wear that for your age, or she looks good for her age, or he looks good for his age. Whatever it is, I just think it's such a limiting belief.
Mm-hmm.
And the interviewer said something like, what's one of your biggest regrets? And she said, I regret, in a few words or less, being so hard on myself. Like thinking at 37, I wasn't as beautiful as I was. And now in my 70s, I would kill for those legs.
Right.
And it's also relative to where you are in time.
Yeah.
And that's why ageism is such a waste of your energy.
Yeah.
Because you're basing it off of future fear that's not even real and probably won't manifest.
Yeah. I was thinking about this morning. For some reason, I had sometimes you create scenes in your head.
Every day. I did about 70 of them between my car and here.
I had one where it was totally manufactured. I mean, it must be based in something, but it was totally manufactured, where I had one of my nephews who we're going to see at the beach in a couple weeks. I had one of my nephews saying something to me about being old, like busting my balls about being old. And in the scene, I just went, I am what I am. What do you mean? I am what I am. This is just where I'm at. Like it was just like this little scene that popped into my head.
Right.
But it was like I don't like the idea of getting older, but in this little scene, I was just like, yeah, who cares? This is what it is. I have nothing. Like, what's the alternative?
Would you trade your wisdom for youth right now? I think that's the biggest question people have to ask themselves. Like,
yeah,
there's a grace and there's a humility to aging, and there's also a lot of magic and power that comes with it.
Yeah.
It's hard to focus on that because our society's so fast.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys, do men think about that the same as women? Like, do you feel like, and have you experienced in society this sort of pressure to stay young?
No. Well, in some regard, yeah, or how. In some regard, like in stand-up, I'll look out at my audience, and they're like middle-aged. Yeah, there's kids, but there's also there's like a range, but the chunk is like, I don't know, like median age is like 40, whatever. And I'll see some comics who are selling out these giant places with thousands of 20-year-old dudes.
Just the one.
Yeah,
Matt's got all of them. He cornered the market. They're all going to be exhausted.
His are all girls.
And cougars.
Right, exactly.
And their moms.
Yeah. So I guess the answer to my question is sometimes I'll have a pang of, am I relevant to younger people? With my comedy. And then the other day I was watching Carol Burnett's show.
Oh my gosh.
Who's just like
so fun and funny.
When she talks to the audience at the end, like she would always take questions, or from the beginning, and she would, the studio audience, they were all like 60-year-old, 70-year-old people. They were just like an older, and I was like, yeah, I guess that's who shows up at a performing arts center and pays the money to go do the thing. Right.
And I don't know, maybe they weren't as focused on the impending doom as much as we are, because we're faced with it on our devices all day. Maybe they're just like,
yeah, and we're told we can beat it.
Yeah.
But a short answer to your question is, I think men, we don't want to lose our strength and we want to be relevant, but I don't think, as a general answer, we don't feel the aging thing of like, that women feel.
Right, like the physicality aspect of it. Like, you guys get older.
Staying young, and you got to look like you did when you were 20. Right. Like that just, we don't have that.
No, you guys become distinguished and we become witches.
Right. Yeah.
So that's the big difference. And we don't want to become witches.
Right, exactly.
And it has to do with like marketing and the 14-year-old Swedish girls, they put on all the beauty products. Like, of course, she doesn't have wrinkles.
Right.
She shouldn't be on the anti-wrinkle package. She's just a wrinkle. She's a single wrinkle.
Yeah.
So she shouldn't be on the package.
Right. Do you carry it? Or do you have to fight against it in your own little head?
Not really.
Yeah.
Not really. My mother was not one to really focus on it. She was always, proud of where she was at and was always talking about, well, when she's old, in a way, like, I'll do this and I'll achieve this. Yeah. And it was more of a positive outlook as far as like aging is concerned.
Yeah.
But it is definitely something that sometimes I'll ruminate over, only because I'm in the entertainment industry and it's a big facet of what we do.
Yeah. We have to look at ourselves so often.
So often.
I know.
And then you start to go, where did that little crevice come from? Is there something in there?
Or just general, I'm gross. I did this TV thing that like a year ago, and I called my other daughter,
who was working for free.
Well, not the intern.
Not this one. Okay, another one that you've got doing something else. Where she's working on the merch. What's she doing?
She's got she's got stuff to do.
Refilling the espresso pods.
And I called my other daughter it was like the first day, and I was in the trailer, and I called her. I was like, why would anyone want to see my face on television? Like, I had caught myself, and I was like, oh, they're not really gonna, like, I was they're gonna come in and get me and tell me to leave the lot now.
They're gonna come and get me.
Because they realized, we hired a hobbit when we were looking for a host.
We need a hobbit host. That's a niche market. We have to have you fill that immediately.
But there is definitely, I think it's a human condition, by the way.
It is.
And like you said, our business, you're forced to kind of look and analyze it. Like my father I don't think he ever looks in a mirror.
That's healthy.
I don't think he ever sees himself.
That's healthy to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Physically, I think that's healthy.
My mom's not happy about it when they're going out. She's like, why are you wearing that?
How old are they?
79.
Oh, they had you young.
Yeah.
And they're still together?
They're still together.
That's amazing.
High school sweethearts.
Oh, that's beautiful.
They're still together. And
I guess it's possible when there's only 40 people in the school. You know, you just kind of,
yeah,
what are you going to do?
Yeah, it's a necessity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really sweet.
But he never sees himself. So he doesn't worry about it. But we have to see ourselves a lot.
Have you heard about this thing? I think it was an art installation, maybe in New York. I can't remember what city, called a true mirror. This artist took a mirror and then somehow put a film on it to take away and not take away the reflection, but alter the reflection so it is how people see you.
Oh, really?
Because we can't.
No.
There's no. Think about this. We are a self. We're a human.
Yeah.
We're a person that we can never see.
Yeah.
We never, ever, ever, ever see ourselves how people see us.
Nope.
And so already we have a distorted image of who we are. Mm-hmm. And so I'm so eager to go see what this is like.
Yeah.
So it's just like how I see you is how you would see you.
Is it accurate? They say it's accurate?
Yeah. And I've seen videos of it, of people watching or like seeing themselves for the first time, and people are bawling their eyes out.
Really?
Yeah, because some
they're
are
so
ugly. Clip it.
Oh, that's so sad for them.
I know.
Oh my God.
Walk into the ocean. fail. No, but they were like,
yeah, because you also don't hear yourself. We don't.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's why we hear it a little bit more. We're a little more used to it, but no one really hears themselves the way that the world hears.
Yeah.
You.
It's so interesting.
That's why when you hear like a recording, everyone's like, do I sound like that?
Yeah. It's strange. Maybe that's why we're so complicated and lost sometimes, because we have such a distorted of how we sound, how we look.
Yeah.
And we're trying to fill in the pieces with images that aren't real.
If I were to look in that mirror in that installation, what would I be surprised? What do you think I would see that I don't see that you see?
I think your softness. And maybe that comes from having children.
Mm-hmm.
Not like physical softness. I mean, like there's a softness to you.
Right.
So I don't know if you've been humbled.
Right.
Maybe life has been hard for you and you've sort of come on the other side of some things. Or maybe some realizations.
Was this a mirror or a therapist?
I think the mirror is a therapist. I think you would see that you have really nice eyes.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like soft eyes is what I'm saying.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Mm-hmm. But that's for you to figure out.
I don't want to.
Do you guys know where it is? Is anyone looking it up?
Is it in New York?
Are you guys all on Instagram? Ooh.
Oh, really? It's moving around?
Any in Los Angeles?
Yeah.
Oh.
But it's in the Museum of Illusions.
That's confusing. They're like, hey, your true self is an illusion.
Yeah.
Back at square one. It's all an illusion.
Go back to your confused self.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the constant state of confusion. Gosh. Take us back before cell phones.
Are you as confident as you seem?
I am. And there's also moments where I really need to recharge that. Mm-hmm. It's not that it's not a constant state of being. It's always within me, but other emotions come up that sort of need attention for me to process things. It takes me a really long time to process things.
What do you mean? Like process?
Like if I get into an argument or there's a disagreement or I don't understand something or I'm going through some sort of grief and the compounding grief that I've sort of dealt with over the past 4 or 5 years or so, I think that's also affected the time at which I feel I need to process something. Right. So I am confident, but there are situations in life where I don't need to be confident then. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. There are events in our life that I always feel that they're like tsunamis. It's like you're confident and you can deal and you got your way of going through the world. And then every once in a while you get hit by one of the big ones and that's out of your control.
Right.
And you are going to be swept around and you're going to try and grab onto limbs and and you will find your way, but they fundamentally wreck you for a while.
We need to be wrecked. Everyone has to get a little shipwrecked.
Mm-hmm.
That's the good stuff of life.
Yeah.
And I've been on my own since I was 18. Mm-hmm. So I think that also provides a level of confidence. You have to be out in the world, pay your own bills.
Yeah.
Even though I hit my parents up a bunch. R.I.P. missing that cash flow. I was like, Dad, I need help. He's like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, I'm trying my hardest. New York's expensive.
Yeah. How should I handle that actually?
Paying your children?
Yeah. Like I have one child who's not present, who is spending a lot of my money.
Oh, wow.
And I figured out, this is so dumb, but she's smarter than I am. So she I think I'm taking credit cards off my phone and she still finds a way to she's definitely, you would love her.
Is she your youngest?
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And she's very good at it. And I think I'm all locked in and then a package shows up and I'm like, how did she figure that out? How did she, or I see a picture of her with her friends at a restaurant.
Your wife is like, where did you go? What is this receipt from?
And there's a part of me that's like, you have to ask or whatever. I say this to all of my children. You have to ask and, then, and 9 times out of 10, I say yes.
Yeah, because you're a guy, you want to provide. They're your children. It's tough.
That's my question.
My dad very rarely said no. I kept notes. Because my dad would send me money in the mail and I kept almost all the notes.
Oh, really?
And I've been going through them because I've been writing about him.
Oh, wow.
And there's one note that's like, this is the last time I'm sending money. Don't tell anyone in the family. It's like $200.
Don't tell anyone in the family. That means everyone in the family is like, you've got to cut her off. And he wouldn't.
No, he couldn't.
That's so great.
He could. I ended up okay.
Yeah.
It's like, there's something beautiful about being able to have a lifeline,
I know.
It's a little bit of an umbilical cord. I think it becomes a problem when they're not working.
Right. If you're not doing it yourself.
Yeah. If they're out there and are they completely financially dependent on you? Because then that's a problem. Then you're an enabler. I'm going to call you an enabler.
Right. Exactly. You don't want to be that.
No, at all.
We're just getting into adulthood, so it hasn't really hit.
Do you feel like you're a good disciplinarian, and is that something you and your wife have been good at? Or who is?
I think so.
Good cop, bad cop, does that fluctuate between the two?
I don't know. I mean, when you talk to them, they kind of have different answers at different times of who is more strict.
I think they run you to the ground. I think your girls have you've probably had to take extra road work for them.
Oh, 100%. There was something happened last night. Oh yeah, college tuition or something. I think we were talking about college tuitions, flights back to the East Coast, and my wife's getting a car, and I was renting a car for 2 weeks when we're on vacation, which is more expensive than the car that she's buying.
What is going on with that?
I don't know.
That's
it's
insane.
like $4,000 to rent a car for 2 weeks. And so we went through that whole list, and I was like, oh, well, this vacation is going to be short because I've got to go.
I got to go to Omaha.
Right, exactly. I have to go pay for this, which I'm totally not like, oh, I got to go to. I'm like, yeah, and I'll go do a couple gigs.
Yeah.
And I'll
it is pretty sweet to have a thing that makes the money, but it's as long as that they're not 100% financially dependent on you.
Yeah.
Being a dad and taking care of your daughter is the greatest thing.
Yeah.
It really is.
Right.
And when my dad got older and the tables turned and he'd hit me up, he'd go between my sister, I have 3 other sisters, and so he'd just kind of make the phone calls.
Right.
And make a world tour. He'd hit me up, I'm a little low this month. He's doing off-track betting.
I'm a little low this month.
Yeah, because he's buying vodka sodas at 11 a.m. at Change of Pace in Syracuse, New York, playing Keno for 8 hours.
I like this guy.
And Quick Draw, he was great. And so I would, text my sister, Dad just called me. Oh, he called me yesterday. I'm like, he's already out from yesterday? So it's fun to have the tables turn and to be able to do that. So that's a thing you might experience.
Yeah.
You can start hitting them up.
Oh, yeah. That's my
fun.
plan. They don't seem to be amenable to that idea.
Not yet, but they're going to have to be.
Like in their fantasies, like a lot of times they'll be like, "Oh, I'm gonna have a house here with whatever, with 3 kids," and I'll be like, and then I'll have a pizza oven in the back, and I'll live in the guest house in the back. And they're like, "No,
that sounds great."
I'm like, not even in the fantasy pretend times. You can't give it to me just to pretend. No,
absolutely
you're
not.
not wanted in my yard.
That's sweet though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I'll protest, but supply.
Yeah. That's the sweet balance between enabling and loving.
Right. Is this just an impetus for the writing about him? Like, or it's
writing a book
portion,
about him.
It's a portion of that.
Yeah. And remembering him, just
That's
trying
great,
to think about all the things.
Last time you were on the podcast was probably 2 years ago, maybe
Was it? Yeah.
2.5, maybe. It was pretty fresh.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
That's right. Because he had passed in 2018 and my mom passed in 2020.
Right.
So it's so interesting. Like every time you go through something that's like a loss, all the other losses are sort of woven into that.
Mhm.
So it's like, it's hard in a sense because you feel compounding grief with it,
Sure.
but it's also, you're expelling that stagnant energy from previous grieving and grievances. So it's like this catch-22, this emotional catch-22 where it's a little bit heavier, but you're releasing more.
Mm-hmm. You mean it's helping you overcome the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It helps you, work out some that have sort of stuck their claws in parts that you didn't know.
Right.
Because I do
Right.
believe your body holds
Mm-hmm.
the memories and pain. And so you have to, I do that a lot. I just like,
Yeah.
I call it moving the energy.
Yeah.
I do believe that is one of the benefits of sort of experiencing the grief and having other things that have happened
Yeah.
to be able to let those other things go. But yeah, it's
The other good benefit, and I'm not sure if you've experienced it since then, is when you have like a big one, when you have the big ones, the big deaths, and then you have another death in the family that's not as big.
yeah, Uncle Tom.
Yeah.
He always played the guitar and played originals.
Right, exactly.
Won't miss that.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, I'm all right with that one.
Like, oh God, where's the after party for this funeral? And then you just start judging how people do their funerals.
Yeah.
Which I think we need to update the funeral.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about this for a second. It's become a bit of a, no one knows what to do right now.
No one knows what to do right now, but there's also these like instilled traditions that we're supposed to abide by that I don't agree with. I think, hey, someone just died. My closest person just died. I don't want you to fucking kiss my cheek. Okay, lady who did his hair for 30 years.
Right.
Don't want your cigarette breath on my sweet skin. Because this is all I got right now. All right?
Right.
The glow is from sadness and very expensive skincare. So get off of me. And it just...
What about the question when you're in those situations of, if there's anything I can do, from people who you never talk to?
I've never done anything.
And it's just their go-to question is, if there's anything I can do.
I'll bring my dad back. That'd be great.
Right, exactly.
Could you work on that? Are
Can you
you a
bring my
witch?
dad back?
Yeah. Do you know a wizard anywhere? Is there a Middle Earth agency that you're friends with that we could sort of...
If you really want to be helpful, bring my dad
Yeah,
back.
it's a weird thing. It's just like no one knows what to do. And so people are awkward.
Yeah.
The receiving line is weird.
I'll tell you who knows what to do.
Who?
Right, Joe Bolter?
Yeah.
The Jewish people.
Oh yeah.
The Jewish people know what to do.
They sit...
You sit Shiva.
Shiva's genius.
We bury within 24 hours. Done.
Yep.
Whatever. We just go. And then there's no like calling and we're going to have a memorial at the Elks Lodge 3 weeks from now. It's just in, and then you sit Shiva for how long?
7 days.
Yeah, and people just start bringing food.
They bring you food.
Right.
They like to bring you food
It's-
for the whole time.
I'm telling you, Jewish people have got tradition down.
They have the big things solved.
And then there's also the person, I forget their name, the person who sits with the body. If the body, there's like a,
Johnny?
hey, Johnny, call Johnny. This one, we got cold one. He's unresponsive forever. So can we but there's a person that in the Jewish, I don't know if it's Orthodox or if it's another, I can't think of the name, but there's a person whose job it
Stays
is
with the body
to sit with the
until
body.
they go.
Yeah. I can't remember what it is, but I do agree that
Yeah.
that's a little bit more.
That always made sense to me.
Yeah.
It just felt like, because I feel like now, our Italians and the wakes, he's out for 3 days, and then the thing, and then the thing, and
What are
all
we
of that's
doing?
going away in this modern age. Not a lot of people all live on the block anymore.
No.
So we've had a couple in my family where they just like are going to have a memorial at some point. Everyone's cremated now, so they just kind of scatter, and then we'll get to it eventually, and then it doesn't happen. Well, we'll say something at Christmas, or like it's gotten.
That's
people
a
are
good point.
confused by it.
That's a good point. Like the traditions sort of are the glue to the grieving process.
Yeah.
You say that we've never had a funeral for my mother.
Oh, really?
Never. And, psychologically, it's healthy and also helpful for the understanding of death to see them dead.
Yeah.
Just for your own mental process. And we never had a funeral for her. And I think that definitely it holds it in a frozen place a little bit.
Yeah, there's no finality to it.
There's no finality.
Yeah.
And how ironic, the most final thing we experience,
Yeah.
the, coup de grace.
You know who could have helped with that?
Joey.
Johnny.
Hey, Johnny, get over here. Are you done sitting with the body? Did you know in Italy, I'm not sure they do it anymore, but traditionally, specifically, I think in Sicily, they would hire wailers at the funerals.
Really?
Professional funeral wailers.
That's pretty good.
You could do that to help pay for your kid's dream home.
Is it?
We're hiring. I'm here to hire.
I feel like it's probably women.
Oh, no.
Male whalers?
Yeah, we call them mailers.
Mailers.
Yeah. I always thought that was interesting that there's because
to fill in the gaps.
right, this should be sadder. Can we bring in the whalers?
Right, come on, someone.
Yeah.
Enough of this quiet sniffles.
Yeah, we need somebody to really be dramatic. I think that's why we got that sort of, Italians are known to be dramatic.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I don't think Italian. Yeah, I don't know. I like the traditional way
of funerals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Skip the wake.
The wake is weird.
But have a funeral.
I think funerals are necessary. I just don't know. I think maybe I just was so frustrated when my dad passed that in line with us was my mother and her literally physically crooked boyfriend, Bob.
Mm.
Bob had one story about the one time he shadowboxed a bear and he had it on VHS and he would play it. And he relived this glory. Now, Bob was shaped like a question mark. Ironically, not from fighting this bear.
Just from life.
Just from his ego holding his head over.
Oh, my God.
And so we're in the receiving line, and Bob, the crooked Bob, is in the line with my mom. I'm like, why is Bob here?
Yeah.
He didn't know Dad.
That's always...
Bob was insane. Talking about we made us watch that video 100 times.
Why is Bob there?
So I just was frustrated having people kiss me and have Bob stand next to me.
Yeah. So you did that for your father, but then your mother's...
We didn't because it was COVID. Like you said, everything kind of changed.
Did you do a Zoom thing? We did a Zoom thing during a death during COVID.
Really?
Yeah. And it actually was effective.
Who was this for?
My aunt.
Oh, okay. How old was she?
She had probably 70, late 60s.
She looked great.
She looked great. Yeah.
She's here depicted in this beautiful garlic bouquet. We love her.
So and she had been cremated, and then we had a Zoom thing with a big Italian family, so everybody got on it. And there was this closure. Like, everybody kind of said something. It kind of just took its own life. Everybody had just found a rhythm, and we had a couple of people say something, but then everybody just started mentioning stuff, and it was satisfying. Like, at the end of it, it was, okay, we did that.
Yeah, that's something.
And then we had another one that went after, and we didn't do that. And there was no real thing. There was this little ceremony, later on. But the rest of the family was kind of just left in limbo.
Yeah, it's necessary. Some traditions, I even say religion, these sort of things that we have that are kind of the skeleton and the glue of our society, they've worked for so long. Maybe not in an extreme radical way, but faith is important, whatever it is.
No, 100%.
And tradition's important.
Yeah. People have figured this stuff out.
Yeah.
It's
from the beginning of
so
time.
arrogant to think, no, we have a new way of doing this.
Yeah.
And then you show up and it's like, no, you know what? Stick with it.
Yeah.
I feel the same way just basically on just basic manners.
Oh, I agree.
Like an excuse me and a please and a thank you are just, they've been thought out.
And they work. Even if you don't mean it, bitch. Even if you don't mean it.
Right, just say it.
Most of the time I say it, I do not mean it.
Right, but you play by the rules.
I'm going to play by the rules.
And it gets you out of the awkward social situation, which is every social interaction.
Right. Even if I go, thank you, at least I said it. My mother above will be like, okay, we didn't need it that way.
Yeah.
I raised you better than that. But I do agree, manners are, and there's something happening, and it's inevitable, and there's nothing we can do about it. And that's just evolution and how much technology is changing our behavioral patterns. And it's really indicative in witnessing a younger generation and their behavior and how they regard their peers and their manners.
Yeah.
It's almost like manners are becoming extinct.
No, I know.
And that's scary.
It is scary. You can't just blow everything apart and think that you're going to survive.
Well, it's just not.
It's rudderless.
It is. And society needs order.
Yeah.
Human beings on their own. I mean, look at ancient times. We were a mess. We were barbarians.
Right.
We were like, throw tigers in the ring and let's have people in there too. And we're going to just show up and scream at it because it sounds fun.
Yeah.
We need some order even to our chaos.
No, 100%. Yeah. I value all of that stuff. It's like, there's a reason these things, they were worked out.
Yeah. I've changed one tradition that's a newer one that you just displayed.
I did?
100%. Everyone says that. I have a new one.
What?
I know you're against tradition being changed. We just discussed this. So this is a little bit of, I say 122%.
Wait, what?
No more 100%.
100%.
It's 122%.
I just said 100%?
Yeah, everyone does. I'm changing the tradition.
Didn't I say, Joe, that I've caught myself?
Yeah,
Everyone says
I've caught
it.
myself saying it and I got to stop.
it's a new.
We're evolving
I can't stop it.
122.
It's just coming out of my face.
Everyone's doing it.
122%.
122%.
A little bit extra for you. Okay, so much I care.
I had my New Year's resolution was to stop saying
That's a really good one. It's tough. Do you say it on stage? I don't think.
No, sometimes when I'm working on new stuff and I'm not sure where I'm going, because it's really just a device to fill in uncomfortable silence.
Yeah.
Is similar.
It is a distracting thing when you're watching someone do that and they do it often.
Yeah.
And if you've got like a 10-minute set and you say like 22
I know.
that's a joke. That's that's enough time for a joke. Or like you said, silence.
Yeah. Silence. Yeah. Just be okay with it.
It's tough
So
though.
I've done a pretty good job with the ums.
Yeah, but I think 100% took over the.
100%. It's true.
Has he said, I haven't heard an today. Are you an counter? Is that what he's doing on his laptop?
Counted, but he's worked really hard on it. And then there was an Oscar or an Emmy speech you saw where someone went crazy on the
Yeah, I think during the Oscars.
When was this?
Someone really, really respectable just let ums go.
counted.
Did this go viral? This sounds like it would be something that would be.
It would be if more people cared about it other than myself.
Yeah.
But I just watched it over and over.
Well, it's not controversial enough. If they were saying like the N-word, it would be a compilation.
Yeah, wow, he can't stop. He just keeps saying
Isn't it funny? We just focus on the things that trigger us.
What a weird way to accept an award.
God, people are so annoying.
I know.
All right, let's be honest. Women balance a lot. We have our careers, our children, our relationships, but what about us? What makes us happy? And are we satisfied? For too many women, satisfaction in the bedroom has been lost. For years, you look forward to sex, but now your desire is hard to find. Where is it? And you're stressing because you can't figure out why. If this sounds familiar, here's the good news. There's an FDA-approved treatment option to help you get back in touch with your desire. Yes, girl, it's called Addyi. Many women who have taken it report a rekindling of their sex drive, less stress from low desire, and feeling like themselves again. We could all use a little bit more of that, right?
Women deserve to have it all, and balance in the bedroom is where it's at. You ready to learn more? Head over to addyi.com to see if Addie's right for you. Addie, or flibanserin, is FDA approved and has been clinically proven to increase sexual desire in certain premenopausal women who are bothered by a low libido. And who wouldn't be bothered by that? So if you feel like you've lost your desire and you want to get it back, stop falling for the snake oils, girl, and ask your doctor about Addie today. Go to addyi.com. That's addyi.com. Get your desire back.
Addie, or flibanserin, is for premenopausal women with acquired generalized hypoactive sexual desire disorder, HSDD, who have not had problems with low sexual desire in the past, who have low sexual desire no matter the type of sexual activity, the situation, or the sexual partner. The low sexual desire is troubling to them and is not due to a medical or mental health problem, problems in the relationship, or medicine or other drug use. Addie is not for use in men or to enhance sexual performance. Your risk of severe low blood pressure and fainting is increased if you drink 1 to 2 standard alcoholic drinks close in time to your Addie dose. Wait at least 2 hours after drinking before taking Addie at bedtime. Your risk of severe low blood pressure and fainting is also increased if you take certain prescriptions, over-the-counter or herbal medications, or have liver problems. Low blood pressure and fainting can happen when you take Addie, even if you don't drink alcohol or take other medicines. Do not take if you are allergic to any of the ingredients in Addie. Allergic reactions may include hives, itching, or trouble breathing. Sleepiness, sometimes serious, can occur. Common side effects include dizziness, nausea, tiredness, difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep, and dry mouth. See full PI and medication guide, including boxed warning, at addie.com/PI or call 844-PINK-PILL. Addie.
That's addyi.com.
Yeah, because 100%. I don't know where it came
100%.
from. It just
It sounds like something like, who's that guy that everyone says is like the new toxic masculine guy? Thank you. She's tuned in. She's tapped in. Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
It sounds like something like that guy would have created, or whoever created Athletic Greens. Like 100%.
I was just corrected this morning because I was explaining, which I just learned, and now I just learned it, and I was told today that it's now old and dated.
Your daughter's shaking her head. Just let the record show that the family member is already in protest.
I said to my friend, I taught my friend this morning what rizz is.
Oh, wow.
And then I was told as soon as I did it that rizz is over.
Already?
Right?
What?
Yeah.
Rizz was a fun one.
Is rizz over?
You were also using it wildly incorrectly.
What was the context?
He was talking about an Olympic runner and saying, she's got so much rizz.
But she has rizz.
But
Yeah.
I thought it meant like personality, not that she has a lot of game and like gets a lot of guys, which is what it means.
Oh, so they've taken, because my understanding, and this is a fun moment for both of us.
I think we're going to bond on this.
This just shows you where we are in the evolutionary chart, and this is a humbling place.
Okay.
I assumed, just from hearing it in a few different contexts, that it was rizz off of charisma.
Exactly.
And that it meant like they had a lot of charisma.
Exactly.
It still kind of means that, but it's more of like...
But it sounds like the kids have now made it sexual only.
Shocker.
What is wrong with you?
Shocker. But I still
It's
love
only about
it.
whether you get some.
Yeah, that's what it's about.
Oh.
That's what it's about.
It's too close to the other word that sounds like something sexual, and now...
Yeah. You mean the end of it?
Well, if you...
The rhymes with Riz?
Yeah.
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 And that's just... It's a lot. It's a lot.
We do a thing on this show called An Uncomfortable Moment.
Love it. Is there pasta for me to eat after? Because that's what I do with all my uncomfortable moments.
It's just down pasta.
Yeah, I just slam a bag of fettuccine.
Oh, you know what? All right, I'm going to put off the uncomfortable moment just for a second.
Okay.
Because you brought up something that just triggered me in the beginning when I said we had these
fettuccine?
things. Yeah.
Fettuccine
I went to my
always
favorite
triggers me.
Italian restaurant the other night.
In LA.
In LA.
I feel like you've told me what this place was, now I can't remember.
It's just a local spot. It's my favorite local Italian
Okay.
restaurant, right? That I could drive to. It's just in the neighborhood, and and it was just like this cool place. It was a little elegant. The menus were in a nice little book.
Like the red with the
puffy
red
one.
outline.
Yeah.
It has like a leather outline.
Yeah, there's a little strappy
Yeah,
strap.
the little strap.
And carpeted, and you just like a family kind of place, and like a quiet Italian local place.
You just described your podcast studio. Go on.
It's very close. This is what we're trying to achieve. And we walked in the other day because I had long travels. I was like, I can only go to this place. I'm not going to mention it because
Don't keep it for you.
Yeah. And we walked in and they had renovated.
Oh no.
The carpet's up. It's hard floor. The booths, the cushy older booths, were now green.
Oh boy.
And tough, like bouncy. It was 7:00 on a Sunday, and it was like my one daughter said it was like Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh, Jesus.
Or California Pizza Kitchen. There were babies crying, kids running. It was like, what the hell just happened? It was noisy. It seemed like they were marketing, and the menu came out now on a laminated one sheet.
Oh no, that's like Montecito Farms or Mendocino Farms.
Exactly.
It's the same restaurant, same name?
Same name.
Yikes. That's like what happens when an actress gets bad face work. You're like,
right, yeah.
I know this is the same place,
right.
but
what's different about her?
Scarier here.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Scarier here.
Yeah, they think they look good.
They think they look good, and this is what everyone wants to see.
That's what it was. Like, there's a couple places that open that are a little more modern, like the newer Italian kind of places. And I think that's what somebody got a hold of the owner and was like, we've got to update. And they ruined it.
Probably one of the kids.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
One of the kids was like, this place needs more rizz.
So are you, does that make you not want to go? It's beyond upsetting because I feel like a lot of that is happening. And it makes me think that people are afraid to sit in the space they're in and just sit still, even businesses, because they're afraid they're going to get left behind if they don't become or stay relatable.
It was like the thing we were saying before about aging. It's like
even restaurants are afraid of it.
Even if I look at the audience and think, should I get younger people to my shows? No,
you got the people right there.
Then you're going to be the guy in a laminated.
Yeah, you're the laminated menu.
Yeah, you're the laminated menu, thirsty, begging for stuff.
Right.
And I feel the judgment. Thirsty's probably over now, too.
No, we're keeping thirsty.
Are we going to keep thirsty?
I like thirsty.
Okay, good.
I'm going to say thirsty rizz.
Yeah.
I'm going to make my own drink. And I'm going to charge the millennials double. Actually, I think I am a millennial. I just charge myself. Yeah, I am.
I was so upsetting. It was so upsetting.
Go?
I don't think so.
Oh my gosh. How long have you been going there?
I left probably 10 years.
Did you know the owner? Like, is it the type of thing where you'd go in, they'd be like, hey, Tom.
A little bit, not to that degree, but a little bit of, they knew my name.
Right.
And not from going there.
Did they know your order? Did they have anything sort of down?
No, that would kind of change a little bit.
That's a bummer.
It was such a bummer.
It's really a sign of the times.
Yeah, it was just such a dumb move. It was a dumb move. I really feel like writing them.
You should.
And saying, I'm not sure what you did.
Let them know.
Yeah.
Because once you make that first cut, like that first incision.
Yeah.
Then you got to keep cutting into it.
Yeah.
And then it moves away from art and it goes into a place of like fear and control. Like, what do you do? Why do you keep cutting into something that was fine?
There's nothing, an old, like a traditional Italian restaurant should not be striving to be new and cool.
No, there should be dust. Yeah. There should be crumbs.
Right.
The waitress, there should be at least 60-year-old waitresses.
Right, yeah, exactly.
There's got to be an 80-year-old working. Yeah. One or two.
Someone named Dolores is somewhere on the property.
Just making gnocchi.
Right.
The only no, don't talk to me, I'm making gnocchi. There's a kid working as well.
Yeah, the kid's working the register.
Oh my God. I went to this one place in the middle of America. I can't remember where I was, but it was this Mexican family restaurant, this family Mexican restaurant, and it was owned by the family. The mother had a baby on her hip, checked you in, walked you over to the table with the baby on her hip. I swear to you, this 14-year-old girl took our order. I swear to you, a baby went by in one of those roller seats. You know, those old school roller seats at the table, and it just scoots around. That baby was like handing out waters. And I'm like, oh, this is what America is.
That's the dream.
Family restaurants.
Family run.
That are just kind of a little dirty, but the food's good.
So I'm not wrong that I should go find another place, right?
No, and I do believe you should write a letter.
Yeah.
Because you need a funeral for that.
I know.
You're
right. You do.
People think that funerals should be saved for people. We should normalize having funerals for things like that.
Yeah.
For ourselves.
Yeah.
Just to let that go.
Is this an age thing though? Because I also wanted to complain to the supermarket that they are now.
Yes, it's an age thing. I'm just going to jump ahead of you.
They're putting all their produce in plastic containers. Like,
what?
It used to be this beautiful wall at Gelson's. There used to be like this. The produce section is the reason you go and pay extra for everything.
Yes, and Gelson's
because it was so
nice.
fresh and nice. And they took all of their vegetables and put them in containers. And it's a whole wall of.
Oh, that's not a good sign.
It's not good. So anyway, I complained to them, and at the little manager thing, and I said, this isn't. I just got to say, this isn't so great. It's not good for the planet. It's not good for us. It's not. What are you doing?
Did you ask why? Did they have any reason why?
They didn't have a reason why, but they did say I was not the first person to complain. It seemed like a lot of people did. And I was thinking, have I joined the forces of the older people who complain?
I would think the younger generation
write
would.
letters to restaurants.
We got rid of plastic straws.
Yeah.
There's plastic everywhere else. But
you millennials did that.
Right. And so is this something, did you find out, is this something that like the distribution, like the produce distribution's doing, or is it the grocery store doing it?
I think the grocery store has been told by the produce people, like, hey, this is the way we're moving and it'll cost you less. And
I think, you know where my conspiratorial mind goes? Because sometimes I like to think bigger picture.
Yeah.
It seems, if I were to step back and go, okay, what does this indicate? It seems to me that they're now trying to process produce and get us used to seeing produce in a package.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next evolution of that will be maybe it's in a thicker plastic or even a can. And now our food is completely controlled because I think produce and fresh food is our last connection to having some free will over our food and our food source.
Yeah.
Because even,
you're right.
Farms are controlled by huge corporations and they're being bought up, and now we're looking in regenerative farming and we don't even know if that's something that can sustain because it's so expensive.
What are regenerative? Is that the right word? Organic eggs. What does that mean?
Regenerative organic eggs?
Yeah, I went to get eggs yesterday and it was like.
There's so many different ways. I think regenerative means that they're not forcing the land. They're not like forcing the land to reap or to produce. They're sort of giving the land like the rest it needs and farming the way farming used to be done. Did anyone, I could be wrong, but I kind of think that that's the understanding, is to get back to basically letting the earth regenerate itself so that we're sort of getting actual nutrients.
So it's a nice thing.
It's a really good thing for the planet. That's what I understand. I could be wrong.
That's not the feeling that I had when I saw the words on the package.
Did it trigger you?
I thought it was like, in my mind, they got rid of the middle part of the chicken. It was just a beak in its ass. And it was just making eggs.
Physical regeneration.
Yeah. I was like, well, I don't approve of that.
Is this a trans chicken? What is this?
All right.
Is this an uncomfortable moment?
This is the uncomfortable moment.
Is this where you just sit and read your Kindle?
Yeah,
I'm already uncomfortable.
I just ignore you.
Your sister, that I just made it weird. Your daughter's my audience.
I told her that, I said, you are going to love Jessimae.
It's good to know that I still skew you.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the uncomfortable moment, and it's not a big deal.
Okay, I'm just reapply a lipstick.
You are
so I can feel comfortable.
What are you gonna do?
This is what I do to feel comfortable. Hold on. Okay, go ahead. It's my power.
Does it work?
Yeah, of course it does. Are you kidding me?
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Got this from Target.
No, we just do a deep dive on the guests.
Okay.
And even though we're friends, I have a staff and they do research and stuff.
This is your family.
Yeah. Well,
Staff is a stretch. No, you do. I'm impressed.
So I just said
Only your first one though, but it fit the moment.
Because it
felt
I
real.
needed to fill the space.
It was good though.
So you are an amazing comedian, a great podcaster, great personality, a beautiful, vibrant person.
Thank you.
But I feel like that might be your public persona. We found this photo, and you tell me whether or not this is you when you're home on the weekends.
I can't even. Yo, that could be me. I'm not even lying. Oh God, take me there.
Is that not your face?
Let me tell you, those are my knuckles. I'll tell you for sure. I say I'm not anti-ageism. If someone can come up with a hand rejuvenation that really works.
Look at the size of those hands.
Look at the size of those noodles. I'm in love. Are you kidding me?
Right?
That's my dream state.
Yeah.
I would just love to be. I already am that. I wake up and do crosswords. Are you kidding me? I go to bed at 9 and I wake up at 5. I'm her.
Do you really?
In my soul, yeah.
You're getting up at 5 these days?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah, I wake up. I don't get out of bed all the time at 5, but my normal state the past few years has been really, really early.
Wow.
It's been a little later this past year, but
wow. I
now
got
I'm
up at
popping up.
6:30 today and I was like, well, there's something to this.
Yeah, it's nice.
Now,
I'm scared what's next.
now there are other versions of
okay.
what you could be in the future. Do you want to see them?
100%.
Okay.
Oh, wait. 122%.
See?
Yeah, it's
All right,
still,
we're doing good
catching
though.
on.
If we're aware of it, we're going to solve it.
Yeah, you have to make it repeat it
Do you
for
like
21
this version
days.
of you?
The hair.
I know.
It's too, oh my God, am I going to have that haircut?
If you do.
Oh, I love those pots and pans. Those are professional. That's a professional kitchen.
I know.
If I'm cooking in a professional kitchen at that age, and I'm married, yes! Woo!
You're so Italian. You're like, I'm showing you this picture of you in the future of what you could look like, and you're like, that's a nice pan. I have one more. You want to see it?
Yes.
This one.
Should
Sophia,
be on the wall.
like this is embracing the Sophia vibes that you were talking about.
I'm just tickled already. Honestly, this is me when I wake up.
Right now.
Like for real. The hair, I always, when I wake up, I say I look like Martha Washington. I don't know what happens to my bun in the morning, but it just loosens and then there's this plume. It's like a mushroom, like a
little mushroom cloud
an
coming off your
atomic
head.
cloud coming off my head. Yeah, those are all me. I feel honored and seen.
Well, I have to say, when you get to this point, I hope we're still close because I love all these versions.
I do too. And you're probably going to need some help financially with all these kids mooching off you.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to be. What was it your dad would say? I'm a little low?
I'm a little low.
I'm a little low.
Yeah, OTB low.
That'll be me coming to you.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm a little low.
I'm a little low this week and we would die. This is like I gave him $200. And then my brother-in-law would start, we'd meet my dad at his watering hole. And my brother-in-law is such a Italian, he's always doling out cash.
Right.
And he'd go and he'd give my dad extra cash. We're like, no, you can't get, this man's scamming everybody. A little low.
It's great.
Yeah.
Where are you at in your act these days?
I feel like I'm finding my way back to something that took a while for me to get back to. I think just feeling funny. We were talking before we started, like I've been sort of not off the stage, but just working on the page, just more writing and working on writing projects. And I don't know if you've ever taken like an extended break from stand-up. Like what's the longest time you've been?
Only COVID.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a long time. I mean, that was like at least 6 months to a year.
Yeah. I went back pretty early. But that was the longest break I'd ever taken. It was March is when it got all closed up, and I was back kind of noodling around. Like I snuck off to, Wise Guys in Salt Lake City early, like in June.
Yeah, it was early.
I was going early.
You are a rebel.
I was like one of the only guys in the airport.
That's like bootleggers and people during Prohibition.
It really was. It was. I was thinking about it the other day when I was in a crowded airport, how I really snuck out inappropriately early.
A lot of people did. People were fed up.
There was nobody around. Like I would just walk into this. There was no one at security at LAX.
Oh, that's so nice. It makes you go, oh, the city could be so great.
Yeah, really. I know.
We just got rid of all these
I
people.
know. There's this bagel place, Bell's Bagels, which I love these guys. And they're, I don't know, Silver Lake or Eagle Rock, whatever.
Bell's Bagels. I'm going to remember because I'm on the hunt for a bagel.
They were so good. And they just opened a retail space. But anyway, during the pandemic, I could get there in 15 minutes. Now it's like 45. I'm like, I don't want it to be, a global pandemic. But how insane that you can't even get to these places.
Yeah, it is wild how long it takes to get to spots. Wait, you just made me think. Have you ever had Yeasty Boys bagels?
Oh, the ones on in Studio City?
I don't know where they are, but everyone keeps talking about them.
Is that Studio City, the truck by Alfred's?
Yeah, they have a truck.
Yeah,
is it
Yeasty
good?
Boys. They're okay.
Good sandwiches.
Good sandwiches,
Good sandwiches. That means if you put enough stuff on it, the bagel's all right.
Yeah, the bread becomes the last part you're even thinking about, which is just...
I love any of these guys that are out there, Hank's Bagels, the Yeasty Boy, like they're everyone's trying to like get good bagels in LA and it's working. Like these guys they're doing a good job. But anyway, back to long breaks. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm finding my pace and happy again. I wasn't, you just do it and then it gets to the point, I don't know if you've ever experienced this in your career where you start to resent it a little, or at least you're trying to find a new version of your connection to it.
What do you mean? Because you get tired of doing it the same way over and over and over again.
Yeah, you're trying to find the magic for yourself so you can sort of keep it fun and fresh. So I think I just had to step away for a little bit to do that.
The stopping having fun is a thing.
And then, people are like, oh, it's just the reps. You got to get up and do the reps. But if we're not having fun, then what are we doing? I know there's got to be hard work and sometimes it's a little more difficult than other times. But for me, it has to, the emotion I generate has to be as close to authentic in order for it to even work.
Yeah.
I'm very physical.
Yeah.
I'm goofy. And you can't do that. If you half-ass that, it's worse than standing still and telling a joke.
Right. Yeah.
And half-assing, you can get away with that.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you're physical like I am, if you're not convicted or committed to it, it just bombs horribly.
Right.
And I also want to pursue other things,
What are you thinking?
Well, I've been writing and working on a book. I wrote a horror movie.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's about the last living female Sasquatch and she's in heat. Isn't that fun? Who doesn't want that? I just finished it a couple weeks ago with Leah Bonema, so I'm so excited about that.
Is there a working title?
There is. I don't want to say it yet, though.
Okay.
It's a good one. I'll tell you after.
Okay.
And
that's funny. Any pitch where the one line makes you laugh?
So excited.
Yeah.
I just want to do things.
Did you like that process of writing it?
I didn't at first.
Yeah.
But then it was a long time coming and a lot of challenges and personal challenges and realizing that what working together with friends, what that can sort of, the challenges that come with that.
Sure.
So, but it was a really fun process and it was the most challenging thing I ever did. And I realized how much more I love to collaborate and how someone else's magic brings out yours. And when you find a good partner,
I know
it's so fun.
We're creatures that operate alone a lot.
Yeah.
And you get good at it. You get good at doing it and generating it. But man, the power of having other brains around.
It's the greatest thing to just sort of, being able to collaborate and challenge each other and find they say something and then you say something.
Yeah.
Just that alchemy, the art of alchemy is really something to embark on when it comes to like any sort of career, especially in the arts, but I think it can be applied and is applicable to other industry.
Is that the noise that the Sasquatch made? Embark?
I'm obsessed with Sasquatch.
Yeah, you are.
I love the idea there's so many people that believes in something that should be tangible, yet no one's really seen it.
Right.
But there's these people who are just like, she's out there. Seen one in 85. I'll never forget it. Just people have these like core memories of seeing Sasquatch. And no one's really kind of nailed the Sasquatch movie.
No.
Except for Bobcat.
What was that?
Bobcat did Willow Creek, I think it was. God, I hope.
Oh, yeah?
Bobcat and I are both from the same town, so I hope.
Oh, really?
I hope I said that. Right.
What was the other one with Lithgow in it?
Oh, that was Harry and the Hendersons.
Yeah, Harry and the Hendersons. That was a pretty good one.
One of the greatest.
Yeah.
1982, I think that came out. Oh my God, that movie's so good with the French hunter. There's a lot of influence from that in my script.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's great.
So.
Yeah, that was a good version.
It was so great. I feel like that was like a Disney. I don't know who produced that, but I feel like it was a Disney movie.
Right.
John Lithgow?
I know, come on.
And when the Sasquatch is, I don't know if you remember, but the Sasquatch is in the basement and the neighbor's over, and then the Sasquatch is like pushing up his head on the floorboard, and John Lithgow is just like, I'm just working out. He's like raising up and down. There's so much fun humor.
He's the best.
Yeah. But to make it scary is hard, so
she's in Heat. That's funny.
She's in Heat, and she's the last Sasquatch.
Right.
So you know what that means. Not good for you guys. It's a piece on modern feminism. It really is.
Is it?
Yeah. It's just about this battle that we're all having with like, femininity and masculinity and how we're on this societal pendulum swing. And everyone's trying to like grab their pile of chips and claim it.
What do you think? And I think I'm kind of looking at it from the viewpoint since Kamala took the reins.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there is how does this say it? I feel like there was the rush during Hillary where men were uncomfortable. Men were being attacked. There was like, it was Me Too. There was like kind of this like, there was we can go for Hillary, but there was this resistance, this big resistance of men. And I think it's kind of settled into this place where it's not surprising. It's not analyzed in the same way. It seems to me like it's less fraught from men. That it's more accepting. We're in a better place than it was even 8 years ago.
Yeah, I think maybe you're right. I still feel like there's...
Oh, for sure.
People that are... And I don't know. Maybe people are just afraid of who they are, or they're just dying to belong.
Mm-hmm.
So they're grabbing onto whatever shred of echo chamber they can to sort of feel like they're a part of a tribe.
Yeah.
Because we sort of have... I think it takes a little bit more effort, especially in a city like this that's so sprawling, to get that physical tribe, your people, to have your neighbors and your friends and have them be in your physical space. Everyone's living in different neighborhoods. I mean, you mentioned Silver Lake. I'm never going there.
Yeah.
It's so far.
Yeah.
So you get into these like, wherever your circle of existence is, in the city like this, it's a little bit harder to have everyone that's in your actual inner circle live within that physical circle. So I feel like people are striving to belong a little bit more now. And I think they're just doing it however they can. And if it is screaming and being a part of some movement, they want to belong.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. The people don't want to feel, I think the worst feeling that human beings have is that they're not recognized.
Yes.
That no one notices them.
Right.
And if they're not noticed in a positive way, then it can skew into a negative way, of course. But I think that is really the thing.
And that's why religion and churches are so successful, and why more radical groups, like we can even include white supremacy in that, why those are still around.
Right, exactly.
There are people who want to belong to something greater than them.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's just, it's a spectrum.
See me.
Yeah, see me. Even if I have to put on this cloak. I'm not condoning it by any sense. I'm only trying to make sense of it.
But I don't know. It does feel to me like I can't figure it out because I'm a simple man, but it feels like we're in a different place as far as gender than it was during the Hillary run.
Yeah, I guess it did feel fiery then, but then I don't really get really political because it just goes on and on and on, but I'm very interested to see what happens coming up. Kamala just mentioned her running mate and elections this year. Yeah. It's kind of exciting.
It is. It's very exciting. And it is always a reflection of where we're at. And, who knows where it's going to go. But
I mean, where's it gonna go?
But
It's
it
like
does feel,
celebrity deathmatch.
it feels the gender of it seems, doesn't it seem different to you?
Yeah, it feels like when Obama was running.
Right.
It felt like that because we were also going through a lot. Weren't we coming off? I'm terrible with history and dates and stuff, but weren't we coming off of the housing crisis?
Yeah,
when Obama,
2008, right.
Right. And so this is kind of a similar thing, maybe, where we're going through all this crisis.
Yeah, had all this big change.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it almost, it takes something that maybe 10 years earlier you thought there's no way that could happen.
Right.
And now it's happening. It has a similar kind of a feel.
And it's historical. It's a historical moment in time.
Yeah.
And hopefully, here's a question for you. Do you follow politics a lot? I'm like, I don't get into politics. Do you follow politics?
I follow it. Yeah. I follow it.
Do you feel that right now, with everything that's going on with this election, that our democracy, the threat of our democracy is real in this current moment?
Yeah, I think we're in a very unique situation where we have a single personality who is taking over big parts of a whole party and wants power, or people around him want to use him for that power. I think he's got so much rizz.
Now there we go.
He's got so much charisma.
Negative
He's a very
rizz.
Unique individual. He's a very unique,
should be studied.
powerful thing. Yeah.
He should be put in a vivarium and studied like a critter.
Yeah, right. And with that is a lot of risks. I think he put people in the Supreme Court that have tilted huge issues that the people don't really agree with. That's not democratic.
No.
And then if you're going to manipulate the way that voting happens, that's not very democratic. So yeah, it does feel pretty vulnerable. What's interesting, and again, I don't know anything, but that both sides are crying that. The Republicans are saying this is the end of democracy if they get in. And the Democrats are saying this is the end of democracy if he gets in. And
that's interesting. What do you think that means?
That you've cultivated fear. So that's why there's a little bit of, are we really that vulnerable? Because they're both being stoked and they both are carrying that narrative is interesting to me. I don't know if it means that democracy is actually going to be okay and everyone's just stoking the fear, or if it is really founded in real truth.
Do you think that maybe both parties could be using it to get the people to also feel it?
Oh, you think that the politicians are manipulating the masses by use of fear? No, I don't think that would happen at all.
Maybe. We should put politicians
so.
in those little plastic boxes that Gelson's is starting to put the peaches in.
Yeah.
Just let's start to contain them a little bit more. That might be good.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting.
But at least it's exciting right now. At least like there's some life. Like
it does feel like there's some life in the election now.
Yeah.
And some life in democracy, and also something that's like there's a little bit of fight.
Yeah.
That's why I say it's exciting. And whatever's going to happen is going to happen in society regardless of anything.
Yeah.
I mean, destruction's inevitable, progress is inevitable, creation's inevitable.
You're right.
And the only thing that sort of, I think, is the catalyst of what's going on right now within everything is technology and how fast that's evolving.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's so to be alive right now is absolutely insane. I was listening to the news this morning and they were talking about like AI generated recipes.
Right. Oh, really?
Goodbye, Nona. Don't need your grandma now. We got The Electric Grandmother. Do you remember that movie?
So crazy.
Did anyone see The Electric Grandmother?
No.
1982. An android grandmother came to take care of these like 3 widowed children. And I'll never forget, there's this scene, it's from 1982. She pours milk out of her finger. And I didn't understand the concept of android. And I'm like, oh my God, this is like the greatest grandmother ever.
Yeah.
Milk and cookies would be awesome. But she was like this android who came and took care of them.
Yeah.
That's what's basically what AI has become now.
It's going to get so wild,
it's
so
wild.
fast.
Strap in, do some shrooms.
Yeah, I know,
Let's
exactly.
have fun.
I'm microdosing right now.
Oh, good.
What is fascinating to me, and this was just one of those kind of moments when I was in New York and I was looking out at the skyline around me, like in just 100 years, in just like 150 years, like if you had taken someone from 150 years ago and be like, this is what the world looks like now, these glass spires and just like these planes flying over. I mean, just to think, we take it for granted, but what a city is now is just bonkers that human beings have gotten to this point where they've created these just glass, metal things, pox all over the world. It's really fascinating what we've done. If we don't destroy it, it could be really very exciting.
That's the big question. I mean, I think there's nothing we can do but destroy ourselves.
Well, probably.
But we also create.
I know.
And think about birth, just childbirth.
Mm-hmm.
That destroys to some degree, you know, with not completely, but it destroys a woman's body.
Mm-hmm.
But something's being born, something's being created.
Yeah.
There's no creation without destruction.
Right.
And we're so afraid of it all. And my constant practice, and it's so hard. And the one thing I struggle with is just letting go and sort of letting it all happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's like the constant process that we're involved in is just hanging on to what we can and then releasing, hanging on and releasing.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder, like, maybe that's why people like fishing so much. Because it's a constant
catch and
receive
release.
and let go. Yeah, catch and release. Like there's something really beautiful to that.
Except for the people who catch it and eat it.
Yeah, but then, you know, it's something you did is nourishing you.
Mm.
So I kind of understand fishing on a more like philosophical level.
Yeah.
My dad used to love to fish. And,
he did?
Oh my God, he was the worst at it.
Did he take you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was so bad. And we used to go to this lake, Pleasant Lake in Governor, New York.
Uh-huh.
The land of lifesavers.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, the man who created lifesavers was born in Governor, New York. A little fame, a little history for you. Also, I think inbreeding was also created there. No, they're great people.
Who cares when you have lifesavers?
Yeah, who cares? We would go fishing on this little lake, and I'll never forget this one day. You know, he's just fishing off the dock, so you're not going to get a lot.
Yeah.
It wasn't that deep of a lake.
Uh-huh.
And this lake actually is in the shape of Italy.
Oh, really?
It looks like the boot. And so we're on the heel part of the boot where our camp was, and he's off the dock and trying to get bass, always trying to get bass. And he would, you know, bribe me to go dig up crayfish from underneath the rocks. And I'd have to basically child labor what's going on in the studio.
Right.
In the form of lake life. And I would dig up all these crayfish for him.
Yeah.
Put them in the bucket. But this one day I was protesting because I wanted to get sun because I had a boy that summer that I thought was so cute and I wanted to be nice and tan when I went back to school. And I was on the beach or on the little rocky beach just laying in the sun. I didn't want to catch any crayfish, so he had to use worm.
Uh-huh.
And worm wasn't really good. So he's casting and catching sunfish.
With
You know,
the dumb
like,
worms.
They're just small sunfish.
Yeah, the sunnies.
They're sunnies.
Yeah.
And after a few, I could hear him starting to swear. And now he's starting to swear at these fish. And he'd reel one in and go, son of a fucking bitch, this fucking sunfish. Fuck, what the fuck? And I'm not even looking, I'm just listening to him and laughing. And then I look over and he unhooks one and like punches it into the lake. What the fuck? I'm like, oh God, fishing's so relaxing, Dad.
I love fishing.
So funny to have him be so aggressive towards fish. Don't worry, PETA. Most of them survived.
Yeah, I'm sure they're doing just fine.
They're doing great.
We both love Italian food.
Love it.
We both, I always think about when you told me that your grandmother would take
Ragu.
You thought like, oh, my grandmother's sauce. And then you caught her with ragu and she told you, I just doctored it up.
She doctored up cans of ragu. It was my Aunt Carmela.
Yeah.
No one knew in the family. It's a secret that I've held to this day, but everyone's dead, so I feel safe telling everybody.
I think about it all the time.
Yeah, I do too.
I do. Whenever I cheat and just go like, I'm just going to use this sauce.
She's like, they'll never know. My job was to keep everyone out of the kitchen.
Right.
You know, everyone's like, oh, Carmela, the sauce. And her and I'd be like, you know, the trick
You're
was.
on the inside.
I was on the inside.
Yeah.
The trick was that my grandma Jean would hand make gnocchi.
Oh, wow.
So those were handmade, and she'd spend all day, night making those. And so they were all laid out.
Right.
There's nothing more beautiful
Yeah.
than just a tray or trays of gnocchi individually laid out with the fingerprints.
Gorgeous.
It's like, you know, it's just like a physical love.
Yeah.
And then behind a few bags are cans of ragu hidden.
Yeah.
And so the marriage
Buried under in the garbage.
yeah. There was marriage of authenticity with a little bit of ingenuity, we'll call it.
It's so great.
The dinners were fantastic.
Yeah. Beautiful. So we like that, and we know what's good and what's bad.
Yes.
But we also do a taste test on this on our little show.
Is there fucking food here?
Yeah, but it's stuff that you find, processed things that you find in the 7-Eleven, just to see what the kids are eating.
Do I have to close my eyes and eat it?
No.
It better not be like Fear Factor.
No, it's not. I find stuff that I haven't tried, and I figure like the kids are into them. So this is a type of Cheetos called cheddar jalapeno crunchy.
Okay, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
That's a lot. First of all, he looks like that's toxic masculinity. Whatever's going on in this tube.
Because he's got his mouth open and his legs splayed. It's
just a lot. If I saw, and he's got full sneakers on. This is not a healthy individual.
I feel like this is the guy you were dating last time we hung out.
You can't trust a guy who's in like Nikes in the water. This is not a mentally fit person.
Right.
So you have not tried these?
No, I've never tried them.
God, I love a jalapeno and I love a crunch.
It could be great. I mean, look, some of these things are great.
Can we? Okay, go. Are you going to try it?
What are you going to say?
This ingredient list looks like War and Peace.
No, we're not looking at that. That's not important.
This is so against.
I know.
It's probably going to be really, really good.
Probably.
Cheers.
Cheers.
This is my favorite flavors, and I love a crunch. Oh, God, it tastes like high school.
Yeah, I'm 12.
Yeah. That's the flavor of childhood, and I don't know if that's a good thing.
What do you mean?
Like, this takes me back.
Why is that not good?
Like, well, it's not bad to be. I'm not saying being taken back or feeling nostalgic is bad. I'm just saying that so much of what my nostalgic is wrapped up in is
eating garbage.
Fake food.
Yeah. Look at the side. That tastes more summer.
Taste more summer.
God, they kind of nailed it.
Unless your name is Summer. These are really good.
These aren't bad.
Does Cheez-Its make a jalapeno flavor? Let me see the ingredients. I can't.
Are you gonna?
I'm gonna.
Okay, but wait.
Do you let go of the bag or is it glued to you?
No, I'm gonna give it to you, but out of 10, what would you give it before you see the ingredients?
That's fair. You don't have to be fair and be honest. For a snack like this, probably about an 8.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. The crunch is there.
I'm gonna give it an 8 too.
You know? Mm-hmm. Just the right jalapeno.
Okay, now you can look at the ingredients.
Oh, God, Chester Cheetah. It looks like a guy who does not have a very deep conversation.
I think you like them though.
Oh no. Oh God, what's that?
Don't.
Nope. Oh no. Okay, the cheese. The only thing that's good in here is the cheese.
Uh-huh.
Oh boy. Oh, okay, that's good. Oh, ooh.
Is there really cheese in it? Like real cheese?
Yeah. So cheddar cheese, when they put it in parentheses, that's like what is in that. Milk, cheese, salt, enzymes.
Oh, so that's good.
So the only thing that is in here that's not going to be carcinogenic is the cheese. Oh, wait. There's garlic powder.
That's nice.
And actual jalapeno peppers.
Italian.
Very Italian. But then this is where the train gets off the track. Mm-hmm. Yellow 6, yellow 5, blue 1, red 40. Are we calling trains? What are we doing?
You know what we're doing? We're just making it easier to classify the stuff on the shelf.
You're right. It's not bad.
We could call it Bidemoximines, or you could call it yellow number 5.
It's true. They're like, let's give it. Look, a color and a number's fun. Kids love colors. Kids love numbers.
I saw a Frito commercial last night during the Olympics where they showed a bunch of guys herding cattle. And at the end of herding the cattle, it was very cinematic, and they were showing them get at the cattle and the cowboys on the horses. And
oh my God, I thought you meant herding, like actually
herding.
injuring them.
No, like herding.
Like,
that would be a weird
this was a
ad.
commercial?
Yeah, just punching cows like your dad would punch fish. And at the end, they put some Fritos in a chili and had a meal and Fritos. And I was like, I'm not sure if this is a joke. Like if they're going like too schmaltzy, like Fritos, but I think it might have been very serious.
That's very strange.
Yeah.
On a bowl of chili? The Fritos.
This is pretty good.
I mean, they're pretty good for junk food. It's pretty good. And the texture of it, I'm a sucker for a crunch.
I know.
That's why I like bubbly water. I call it crunchy water. It just feels like little, like an applause break in your mouth.
Oh, crunchy water?
Yeah. I love it. I love it so much. I feel like I'm too fancy when I order. I'm like, can I have some crunchy water?
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I've missed
little
you.
espresso.
It was nice getting to spend
Right
some
back
time with you.
at ya.
Yeah. So you're taking a little time off. So if I go to the comedy store and stuff, we won't run into each other?
No, I'm back. I'm getting
now you're
back
back.
now. Yeah,
Now you're back.
I'm at the Improv this week, and maybe the comedy store. I haven't checked, but I'm back.
Okay.
Swinging around town.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to be pretty local for a bit also.
Yeah, and then I go back out on tour. Are you always on tour, or do you do
Always. Yeah.
do you keep consolidate it, or do you sprinkle it out throughout the year?
It's sprinkled. And yeah, I never really plan it out like I'm going on tour now. But people market it that way now. So I'm just taking what I've always done and I'm like, here's this tour and put a name on it. But it's really just been 30 years of just doing it.
Constantly on the road. Maybe you like it that way. I like a little chunk of time where I'm going in and out.
Yeah.
That's what I've started to do.
I'm trying to do that more. Right now, right now is the beginning of a chunk of, I'm not going to do anything until September.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Like a fall thing.
Yeah.
East Coast.
Yeah.
I love East Coast in the fall.
I know.
Those people. The East Coast people are the best.
I know.
They're gritty.
Yeah.
A lot of them, a lot of F-bombs early in the morning.
They're very angry.
Yeah.
Not happy with their lives.
But also kind of really supportive.
Yeah, that's why they're great comedy
Realistic.
audiences.
They really are.
You complain. You go to like San Diego, they're like, why are you complaining?
God, it's so nice out. Did you see the seals this morning? We're really working on the homelessness.
Anything we could tell the people? Do they need to know anything?
My tour this fall is called the Hot Sister Comedy Tour.
Nice.
I'll be mostly on the East Coast, a couple of California dates.
Why is it called Hot Sister?
It's a joke that's in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, about my dad forgetting I was his daughter and hitting on me. Yeah, still got it. Take that, Sophia Loren.
Amazing. And people can find that where?
Jessimae.com. My podcast, Sharp Tongue Podcast.
Yeah.
I also have a grief survival guide on that podcast.
Oh, you're still doing that?
Yeah.
That's great.
When I experience things or find a guest that I think is interesting, I might actually, I'm starting to focus more on that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, just in the podcasting world. Because it's like, we can be funny on stage and there's so many places, but I want a little corner of my world to talk about
Well, you're good.
things.
You've got a really great sense of all this stuff.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be really sad, though, if I listened to your grief podcast and the next episode is how you're dealing with being on this podcast.
122%.
You got it, Joey.
Rizz.
We got Rizz.
We got Rizz.
We totally have Rizz.
Come on. We still got it.
Yeah.